Do you have a favorite Subnautica biome? To this day, it's so hard for me to choose which biome I like the best. I certainly have ones that I never like to spend a second in if I don't have to, but there are some so beautiful and teeming with life and resources that it's hard for me to continue the game because the biome that I established my base in has everything that I need. I've spent hours upon hours of gameplay just crafting my bases, then swimming around to find materials just to add them to my base without progressing the gameplay for days. But then a thought crossed my mind. Did the biome that I chose truly have everything that I need? And not metaphorically, I mean literally. Before I continue, guys, I can't begin to express how thankful I am for the love you all showed the Neptune rocket video. I made that during the hardest, most uncertain time of my life, so for you all to comment so highly on it really lifted my spirits and showed me that I'm going in the right direction. Y'all were really making my day with the comments you posted. I can tell y'all love Subnautica as much as I do. We still gotta get the channel to 1K subs, so make sure you show this video some love too. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate every single one of you. Alrighty, back to the program. Every biome has something to offer, from minerals to flora to fauna. But one thing we Subnautica players know, no biome is created equal. Now this very fact is just one reason why Subnautica is such a beautiful game. But me being the person I am, I wanted to investigate each biome's uniqueness by asking this question: which Subnautica biome is the most self-sustaining? Now I don't know about you, but when I play Subnautica, I like to put myself in Riley's position and think about how I would go exploring this world that I've been forced to survive in. Riley had no choice but to go deeper as he figured out what the architects were up to in order to save himself and the planet. This required him to travel to most biomes, especially because the other life pods were spread out across them. But me? I'd have been too scared to leave the safe shallows. I feel like in reality, as soon as I saw those stalkers, I would have never gone past the kelp forest. With few exceptions, everything in the game is much bigger than the screen makes it seem. So I'm not messing around with those things, even though stalkers are more annoying than threatening. But let's say I'm an Altera scientist sent to 4546b to study these biomes, and my research project is to spend time in each biome to figure out which one is the most self-sustaining environment. The point being that if you were not allowed to leave it for any reason, you wouldn't have any issue surviving. Is there one such biome? Let's find out. Here's my criteria for a self-sustaining biome. In the game, there are 3 critical factors that determine whether we survive: food, water, and oxygen. If any one of those 3 bars goes empty, we perish, period. Yes, there's a health bar, but that also goes down if you starve and or dehydrate, so it's inherently tied to these. To satisfy the food criteria, the biome has to have edible fish and or edible plants. The only way to cook or cure fish is to have a fabricator, so that will be taken into account. Yes, you can eat them raw, but as a sushi lover myself, even I know not to play with raw fish like that. You also lose water when you eat them raw, and you don't get a lot of nutrition points either, so that doesn't really promote sustainability. To satisfy the water criteria, it needs to have resources that can be used to fabricate water. This means that it has to have bladderfish that can be used to craft filtered water, or the presence of both coral tubes and salt to craft disinfected water, via bleach. In regards to the oxygen requirement, the biome needs to have the materials to make a base with a power source. We can't breathe for long without power, so the biome has to be able to make the power source most suited to it. Now, as I said, in this scenario, I'm an Altera scientist who's been brought to the planet after Riley successfully cured the world of Corybacterium. My job is to assess the biomes of the crater and study which ones can prove self-sustaining. Since this is for research purposes, I will be fully equipped with food and water, as well as materials for a base, power source, and fabricator, just in case the biome cannot provide them on its own. That being said, self-sustainability will be judged by how much the biome itself can provide all of these. Without further ado, let's dig into these biomes and see which ones adhere to these criteria the best. To keep things unbiased, I'm going in alphabetical order. The Blood Kelp Zone is a beautiful yet scary environment that literally invokes terror into the hearts of all who enter it. And I'm not kidding, the PDA even says it.
This ecological biome matches 7 of the 9 preconditions for stimulating terror in humans.
With only the resources in this biome, Is it a self-sustaining environment? When it comes to food, we do have edible flora and fauna. The only fish you're likely to find is the spinefish, which is admittedly a cool looking fish, and when it comes to nutritional value, it's pretty solid. I must admit that I re-recorded this section because I originally said that the spinefish was closer to the bottom than other fish, but then I remembered just how low in nutrition those other fish are. 23 nutritional points is actually on the mid-higher scale, so I had to write that wrong. My apologies to the spinefish for even thinking that way. The only edible plant is the gel sac, which provides 5 food and 4 water points. However, if you grow them on the exterior growth bed, then you have an infinite supply of them. Both an edible fish and edible plant is not something you will find in most biomes, so that's a really positive quality to start out. Finding water will be impossible though, as the blood kelp zone does not have bladderfish to craft filtered water or the combination of salt and coral tube to craft bleach, which would then craft disinfected water. The only water source you could get is from the gel sac, and by cooking the spinefish, that is, if you can make a fabricator. Speaking of which, let's discuss oxygen. This is also a short conversation because there are unfortunately no titanium in the blood kelp regions, although there's plenty of quartz. This means a base, power source, and by proxy a fabricator are all out of the question, and I would have to provide all of that myself. With only the ability to provide one of the 3 necessary criteria, the blood kelp zone is not a self-sustaining environment, although it is gorgeous. Next is the bulb zone, which is also a stunning biome that I admittedly do not frequent as much during my gameplays. I mean I would, but those bone sharks get on my last nerve. Let's see if the bulb zone can pass all 3 criteria. There are plenty of fish swimming around that give a range of okay to great nutritional value when you cook them, so that's definitely something. But the shining star of this biome is, of course, the bulb bush, which is an edible plant that actually gives you more water than food. In addition to the bulb bush's water content, the biome is teeming with salt. And according to the Subnautica wiki, it's supposed to have coral tube samples so you can make disinfectant water. I will say though, I looked all over this biome and did not see any coral tubes, so I'm not really sure about that one. It's not that I don't believe the wiki, but I really couldn't find it, so I don't want to count it, but theoretically it's there. Oxygen is where we fall short, however, because even though there's definitely titanium to make a base, this biome does not have all the raw materials needed to make a hatch to get inside the base, or make any one of the power sources, so you would need to provide that on your own. The biome has table coral samples so we can harvest materials for a fabricator, but I guess what's the point if you can't power it? Well, we have 2 out of 3 criteria checked off for the bulb zone, which I don't think is too bad, considering it really does have plenty of food and water. It's a shame that it doesn't have copper and quartz, otherwise it could have fulfilled all 3 criteria and been one of the most self-sustaining biomes in the game. If not the most, since you're literally surrounded by hydrating plants. Anyone who plays Subnautica regularly knows that the crag field is one of the least desirable places to be. While I agree it's not very exciting and there's really not much to see, this biome has one thing the blood kelp zone and the bulb zone don't. Let's get into food. The fish here actually have a pretty good nutritional value when cooked with a fabricator, of course. Whenever you see Reginald's, you've hit the jackpot. Unfortunately though, this biome has no bladderfish to make filtered water or materials to make disinfected water. But for the first time in this video, we can make something else. And that's a base with a power source. The crag field is filled with limestone crops, so you have access to both titanium and copper. If you add the fact that the biome is teeming with quartz, you have the ingredients for a base and a solar panel. Now, I'm not sure if all areas of the crag field have access to sunlight, but if you pick a good area, you should get the power you need. There isn't any table coral for you to make a fabricator, so you would have to provide that on your own. But all in all, the crag field is not bad. With 2 out of 3 criteria, the crag field is not the most sustainable, but the ability to make a base and a power source still makes it good competition because, let's be honest, out of the 3 criteria, oxygen is the first to run out, unless your food and water bars are like below 10 units. So unfortunately, the crash zone is considered a biome, and even more unfortunately, it's kind of a self-sustainable one. Well, just as long as you don't go behind the aurora. food ranges from okay to good with fish like the whole fish, hoverfish, boomerangs, and peepers. Not only are there plenty of giant coral tubes and salt to make disinfected water, but there are bladderfish swimming around as well, so you have more than one water option. There's obviously a bunch of titanium to make a mansion, and there's limestone crops and quartz so you can craft as many solar panels as you need. There's also a little section where you can get table coral so you can make a fabricator. The wiki says there's gold here, which I did not find unless they're counting the gold you can get from the wall that borders the mushroom forest. Well, it seems that the crash zone is in fact a very sustainable biome, ironically. But like I said, do not go behind the aurora. All you'll find is titanium, quartz, and reapers. Now, I heard that the crash zone was part of the safe shallows before the aurora crashed onto it and ruined the majority of the environment, so that explains why it's still a great place to collect resources. Probably one of the best, to be honest. Well, with the ability to make a base, power it, and craft a fabricator to cook food and craft both kinds of water, the crash zone is a very sustainable biome that gives you everything you need, as long as you don't plan on strolling into Reaper territory. This may be the most sustainable biome on the list so far, but there are more biomes to explore, and they might just come for that number one spot. I mean, what can I say? Actually, I'm just gonna let the Subnautica wiki tell you what's waiting for you at the crater edge. Yeah, that. There's no food, no water, no materials for a base, nothing. You know what? There actually is food. You! Because once you step into the void, you might as well serve yourself on a platter. Now, I know you all want to hear what I think you want to hear, so here it is.
Warning, entering ecological dead zone. Adding report to databank.
So guys, as much as I love a long video, I'm gonna stop here for a few reasons. The first is that it would have taken me a really long while to get this video posted if I pushed it all out at the same time. The weekend is really the only time I can even work on this, and I still have to write the rest of my script. The second reason is that if I do split it up, I can be more consistent in the eyes of the YouTube algorithm. My Neptune rocket video was 3 months ago, and I don't want my channel to be condemned for not posting regularly when I'm extremely passionate about making my videos good quality and extremely enjoyable. Like I mentioned before, I went through the roughest period of my life up to this point since posting that video, and it impacted my ability to work on this video. I did get through it though, and things are fine, but I wanted to get something out as quickly as possible. The third reason is that I need you to press that like and subscribe button real hard so that I can be motivated to make that part 2. This is my 3rd video essay on the channel, so I'm still testing the waters with this new journey I'm on. My last video I asked for 40 likes, and y'all gave me back 352 at the time of writing this, which I still can't believe. If you can give this video at least 80 likes, I'll get that part 2 out post-haste, because the next biome on the list is the dunes, and I know you want to cover that one, don't you? As always, thank y'all so much for watching, and I will continue my Altera research project in part 2. Peace and love.